And she said, "This is not a motorcycle." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "This is a rocket." Hello, Dylan from Throttle Company here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm at the famous, okay, not the famous, the second most famous Red Gate, modeled after the original one, which is in Mandello del Lario, Italy, which is where Moto Guzzis are made. Today's episode of In the Loop is on this just holy grail, collector's level Moto Guzzi Griso. This is a 1200, it's the 8 valve, the SE, and this has so few miles, it's essentially new. I don't remember the story, I don't know the story of it, but basically a Harley Davidson dealer called us and said, "Someone's trading this in on a brand new Harley. Do you guys have any interest in it?" We don't have any interest in it. So we said, sure, of course. It had 400 miles, 430 miles. Now it's got just under 500. We'll see when it fired up. But because we've been riding around, tested it, put air in the tires, we changed the oil, but it's too soon for its first service. So it hasn't done the first service stuff. It's kind of awkward because we changed the oil because I don't know how much you know about oil, whoever's watching this or whatever, but if you don't know the age of your oil, you might as well change it. Oil can become acidic. It can rust the inside of your engine. No good. So if you don't know, it's just a better idea to change it. So we've changed it. We've been riding it, testing it, showing it off to our friends, done a couple test rides. This is the one everybody wants. So they stopped making this bike in 2017. This is a 2016, so it's that last series of Griso. Anyone who owns a Griso, everyone I know who owns a Griso loves it. And its styling may not be for everyone. If you think it looks cool, then you love it. I think it looks cool because I've ridden it. And I'm like, now that's a cool motorcycle. The exhaust is very big. But of course, this is all very stock. Because, you know, 400 miles or whatever. Nobody's done anything to it. So let's go and ride it. This bike will be for sale here at Throttle Company. So if you're interested, call the shop. Or send us a message or put a comment down below. But this is going to be this video. Well, so all Moto Guzzis have the transverse V-twin here, and then you have the drive shaft. This one, Carc. I'll put on the screen what that means. It's Italian. I know what it means. I just don't want to pronounce it. I've got a cool 360 camera here to kind of maybe get some cool shots of this, you know, unique drive shaft moving around. But kind of this single-sided swing arm drive shaft, anti-shaft jack situation. Very cool, unique to Moto Guzzi in some ways, and the upside down forks. I mean, this is a very interesting bike. Griso is named after this figure in Italian folklore, and it means gray, really, but like the gray monster, sort of. And it's just a weird, doesn't fit any category monster. So that's it starting up. When you rev any Moto Guzzi, they shift to the right there because of the engine essentially mounted sideways compared to normal engine. That light there is the side stand. It's all tack here. We have our speedometer here, but it's just like showing you what RPMs we're in. And then I am a little low on gas, but just a little, so I'm not going to worry about it. If that bothers you and you got anxiety over it, I'm very sorry. I hope my camera stays on there. I'll try not to look at it and give you the uninteresting shots. But this bike's seating position is very interesting. The seat's a little wide. I'm on the taller side. I'm 6'1". I find it extremely comfortable. I'm putting both my feet completely flat. we're getting into some actual traffic here on the road. It's got 17-inch wheels, which are very sporty. In some ways, this bike is just uncompromising sport bike. The riding position is one of the compromises. Oh, I meant to change that mirror, or tighten the mirror, adjust it. It's a little on the loose side. Hopefully that won't bother us. But yeah, it's this is it. If you missed out on getting a Griso when they still made them, and you've been looking around, this is the one for you. If you've always wanted one, or if you had one and sold it, this would be a perfect one to get in a collection, because it's perfect. It's essentially a brand new motorcycle that was made, 6 years ago. It's got all the things you want from a Moto Guzzi, character-wise. The engine. Oh, we're just gonna do this. I'm on a motorcycle here. It's ridiculous. So, by that I mean the engine, the noise. It makes this kind of dry clutch, throw-out bearing kind of rattle. It's interesting. If you know Moto Guzzi, then you love it. And if you don't know it yet, you will, because everybody kind of all eventually finds their way to Moto Guzzi. Easy to drive here in traffic. I feel confident on it. These tires are just, they're sport bike tires. They're sticky. They're confidence inspiring. They're fantastic. And this thing, I don't know how to explain it. Nicole rode this thing, my business partner and life partner, and she said, "This is not a motorcycle." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "This is a rocket." And it is. You feel a little bit like you're on the Batmobile, like leaned out, flat, kind of laid down. And the handlebars are wide, so you just have all the control in the world here, and you feel like you're flying. Like I'm just laying down like this, and I've got my arms out, and I'm just gliding through the world, and I can go here if I want, and I can go here if I want. It's so interesting. And if you've never ridden a Moto Guzzi, or another very similar bike is BMW, like a airhead BMW, where the engine is 180 boxer style engine. The cylinders stick out the side like that kind of thing, and give that guy a wave. He'll think we're out of our minds on this weirdo motorcycle. But then if you've ridden one of those motorcycles, then you know that they're not like fast revving. We'll get into it when we get into the turns, but it's not. It's like a heavy flywheel thing, and it doesn't go quick. It's not like gonna get out of control and do a wheelie on you from a stop. Once they pull though, once they get some momentum built up, man, are they quick. And you can see I've got my light telling me to shift, but you can see they meant for you to ride this bike fast. It's just like I said, the dash is all tack. You got your one little. Now I don't remember what gear I'm in. We were in second. So you've got your one little mile per hour speedo, but then the rest is just telling you all RPMs. And man, it screams, even with that stock exhaust, which is obviously very restrictive in the grand scheme of things. It's just awesome sounding. For a V-twin compared to normal Moto Guzzis, it's very sporty. And there's something that happened there about 5,000 where it just had another level of how it was pulling. This is a 1200, like I said. It's over 100 horsepower, which is like the line of ridiculous. When you get a motorcycle with 100 horsepower that weighs like this, which is like under 500 pounds, it's a rocket. Nicole was right. This thing is a rocket. So it turns, of course, amazing. Like you're just gliding through these turns. It's honestly like a little scary how good it is. We'll get you some bike porn. I mean, I don't know if I've ever had a motorcycle in 70 before that driveway there. I mean, this is crazy. So it's a straightaway monster. It's a monster in the turns. I'm gonna go a little slower. I've had issues with my audio. I don't want to get too much wind noise, but you saw it. I don't even know what gear I'm in now. That's got to be 5th. And but this is it just feels. It feels very cool. It feels very comfortable to me. Moto Guzzi does a great job. Being Italian, I think they take that upholstery thing very seriously. Let's try not to hit this groundhog. Don't do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. And I think they take their upholstery very seriously. And all the modern bikes are like that, the ones that we have in the store. And every vintage one that I've seen, or vintage used one that I've seen, has just great seat. And the thing that I think people don't realize, I think in the showroom, a soft seat sells a bike. You think, wow, so comfortable. It's like sitting on a cloud. But you do not want that. When you're actually riding down the road, you want a firm seat. If you look at the guys who are very serious about bicycling, and obviously bicycling is a little bit different. You're moving around on that seat more when you're pedaling. But the guys who are serious do have hard seats, and this is not a hard seat, but it is quite firm. It definitely has some give to it, but it's a cool kind of Cordura material, and I like it. I think it's very cool. This is a lot of traffic, so I'm going to try to go after this guy. Sorry, orange truck. But this is a screamer. This thing has so much power. And I don't know. I guess you'd call this a roadster. I would definitely think this bike is firmly in the roadster category. I know that the idea behind calling it the gray, is that it's kind of in a gray area. But my dad used to have a Ducati Diavel, which is like a Ducati power cruiser, very similar in some ways to this bike, but it was feet forward controls. So that bike was more of a bike with an identity crisis, or a bike trying to be something for the American market, and I don't think that that's what this bike is. I think Moto Guzzi maybe has made some bikes like that, but mostly you get the impression that this is a well put together bike. They made this for a lot, maybe 10 years, maybe it's 04 to 2017, but anyway, around 10 years, and clearly this is somebody's idea of a perfect motorcycle. Now that's what you want. It's unusual. It doesn't really fit into our preconceived notions of like a cruiser bike or whatever, but this is someone's idea of like a motorcycle should be burly and have this big burly wide tank and have these cylinders sticking out like this, and an upside down fork front end, and a drive shaft. So drive shaft's so nice because we just have zero maintenance. There's nothing to adjust. Your chain can't wear out. There's just it's like a car drive shaft. How many times do you have to do maintenance on your car's drive shaft? You'd never think about it. So maintenance wise, it's just gonna go forever. You're gonna keep slapping new sticky tires on this thing because you're gonna wear them out going around the turns. But that is it. And of course your standard oil changes. This one actually takes a lot of oil. Modern Moto Guzzis take very little oil. All the new bikes have the same engine, and it's 1.75 liters, so less than 2 bottles of oil, which is crazy. And this one takes almost 4. You can see that my my front headlights blinking, in case anyone notices that. This is one of the few things that someone had done that's not stock, is installed that aftermarket, like, get your attention headlight modulation thing. It's weird. It could clearly be removed if you care about it. People notice you. It definitely feels safer that way, that people are noticing me if they weren't noticing me for the style of the bike. The other, they only made 2 colors this year as far as I'm aware, and the other one is kind of this like light gray, almost white and black, where the red is, it's white. And it's called Black Devil, which is cool, or Devil Black. Everything's in Italian, so it's how you want to translate it, really. And, what are we doing here? And, that's a cool name, but this is the cooler color. The red is cool. And isn't the devil red? I feel like this should be called Red Devil. Well, anyway, this is it. This is the Holy Grail Griso, and it's the one, if you're remotely interested in a Griso, this is the one you want. It's for sale. It's starting just under $10,000, $9,995. It doesn't matter. And you can negotiate that $5 if it's not right. And this is absolutely worth it. If you know anything about these bikes, you would pay that in a second. And I've considered, after the first ride, I was thinking, I have to keep this thing, man. It is awesome. It is just a fantastic example of the Moto Guzzi Griso. Needs gas though. I'll get that after the video. I'm not going to bore you with it. If you're interested, or you want to see a bike like this, or any of the modern stuff, or you want to see our other videos, there's the shop, Throttle Company Vintage Motorcycles. We're across from the old stadium. This is the old Jets Stadium, and then it became the Clippers Stadium, and the Clippers just moved further downtown, so they're still in Columbus. So if you know this part of the town, it's cool. It's a cool part of town with this whole old stadium there, and it's easy to point out to people. So I'm going to put it here for some glamour shots from my personal photographer, just sitting there waiting on me. Wow. And that's Nicole, who is also Road Warrior Moto. She's pretending to not notice me on my cool bike. Anyway, if you're interested in this, send a message to the shop. I'm sure I said that earlier. Or get me a message somewhere down there in the comments. I will see it. We don't have that many viewers that I won't notice your comments. Here's another thing. You know, they're sort of known for their quirks and their character. This button is completely backwards, from what I think. So I'll give you my signature. Push the button or turn the key to stop it, and it'll seem like I'm starting it or whatever. But it goes in to turn it off. Anyway, that has been what it's like, hopefully, to ride a Griso. It's like flying down the road on a rocket, and it could be yours. This one in particular could be yours. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.